Okay, so we're going to do a really quick kind of demo of getting Visual Studio Community, first of all, and then actually opening the application and trying to create a new console application, kind of as a first foray into Visual Studio. So this is the link that's in the Canvas page. It goes directly to the downloads page for Visual Studio. These are the more expensive licenses that I was talking about, professional and enterprise. Essentially, these provide increasing levels of functionality. Community does essentially everything that enterprise does, except you can use it for free because you can only have 5 people in your organization use it. And you can only obtain a certain amount of revenue from projects that you've created with it. So for the class, we're obviously going to choose community because we don't want to pay hundreds of dollars a year for a license. So if you download this thing, it's going to be just an MSI file or a Microsoft installer. And at the end of the road, what you're going to get is Visual Studio. It looks exactly like this. So if you right-click on the desktop shortcut, or if you right-click on the taskbar icon, you're going to be able to get to Visual Studio 2019. And if you right-click on it, you'll be able to get to Run as Administrator. So this is kind of the big ticket item that we were talking about in the Canvas page. If you don't do this, most of the first stuff that we do in the class is going to be totally fine. As we get into more complicated projects, your projects are going to start failing unless you have clicked this. So from the jump, I would start running everything as administrator just to make sure that you don't get any weird kind of problems. So if you go in here, you will get the splash screen. And I'll walk you through opening a brand new project. So if we create a new project, and we want to make sure in this class, computer's really struggling, that we were looking at console application .NET framework. So there's quite a bit of exposition about why you want .NET Framework and not .NET Core in Module 1. You can read that at your leisure. Long story short is that .NET Framework has a whole bunch of libraries we're going to use throughout the semester. .NET Core is cross-platform, which is nice, but it requires different libraries. .NET Framework is kind of out in the wild, and it's very, very popular. .NET Core is a newer version, but it doesn't have quite as much market share yet, and so we're doing the course in .NET Framework to make sure that you've seen the most likely to see libraries in the wild. So if we choose this off the recently used templates, or you yourself can search for it, look for console app. See here, we have .NET Core. This is for C#. We have Visual Basic, .NET Core, and if you go down a little bit, we have Console Application, .NET Framework for C#, and this is the one we want to select. So we can make this our hello world, our test CIS 4930. Create it. And so when you are installing the application for the first time, you're going to get a splash screen that looks very much like the one that is in the Canvas page. It's going to have a whole bunch of options and workloads and all sorts of crazy stuff. And if you choose the wrong settings there, that's completely okay. Because after we've created a project, or if you just open Visual Studio without creating code, you can always go to Tools, and then Get Tools and Features, and Get Tools and Features will always launch the Visual Studio installer, which is exactly what you downloaded from the internet. So here it will tell you exactly what's installed, and so I have a whole bunch of stuff installed into my machine. I go over the 4 that you need specifically in the Canvas page to make sure that you have those 4 checked. And if you're confused as to if you have them checked or not, you can always go to Tools, Get Tools and Features, and find out if you have the right ones checked. So the long and short of everything is that Visual Studio is really, really complicated, and if you go through some of these submenus, you will quickly find that there are lots and bells and whistles and all sorts of stuff, and a lot of them we won't even use in the class. Some of it we will. So what I wanted to do is just really quickly give you the download story and how to actually launch the application and do something with it. And then we're going to have several code alongs this week that will sort of show you how to build an actual program, but I wanted to make sure that you can actually download it and get it installed. So as long as you get it installed, you create a new console application, and you don't have a ton of red errors, or you don't have anything in your error list down here, everything should be hunky-dory, and you should be ready for the next step. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.